So today we are going to be talking about useless hero ability revamps. This is the second hero ability related video this week. It will be the final one as well. But straight away guys, I want to know in the comments section, what is your least favourite hero ability in Battlefront 2? Let me know. A big thank you to James or Jimbot once again who helped me out with this video. Today we're just going to be looking at some hero abilities really, which we're not necessarily saying are bad, we just want to improve them, that's all. We've got 16 in total, so let's move into things with Boba Fett for the hunt card. This could give Boba Fett an additional 250 health boost while the ability is active and also reveal enemies to the rest of his squad by default. I think any sort of health boost, even if it's just temporary for Boba Fett, is greatly needed. And also revealing enemies to the rest of his squad is just that nice little bonus that I feel Boba needs right now because he's very underpowered unless you're a skilled player and know how to use this guy. And sticking with Boba Fett, his concussion rocket could have the same effect as the officer flash grenade and deal a small amount of damage to his enemies. And this is something really minor, but it could just make a little difference to Boba Fett because he can't really, when the rocket barrage isn't ready to fire, deal that much damage. His primary weapon isn't the best and he just needs a bit more firepower on his side, I think. Chewbacca's charge slam could damage enemies if he runs into them, and he could take no damage while running into combat with this ability. And that may sound overpowered, however this ability is pretty broken and most of the time results in you dying as Chewbacca. And I think running into enemies as well and killing them there and then, it's just something Chewbacca needs. He's just not too good for me unless it's in heroes versus villains. Darth Vader's Force Choke could be activated and automatically damage enemies while Vader carries on moving as normal, the same as Battlefront 2015. And I agree with this one so much. Vader is so vulnerable when he uses the Force Choke, and it's just an easy way to get yourself killed as Vader, isn't it? Emperor Palpatine's Electrocute ability, arguably his worst ability, could still freeze enemies if they jump or are higher up than the Emperor. I think this is needed because it's a very restricting ability. If the enemy rolls, jumps, or is just up a bit higher than you, it doesn't always electrocute them, so a nice little fix to this ability. Han Solo's shoulder charge could prevent Han from taking damage while he's running while using the ability and then damage them a bit more. Once again, Han is very vulnerable when he uses this ability and it does just need to do a bit more damage. It could be seen as overpowered in a way, but I think a hero like Han is just very vulnerable in a lot of situations and needs a little bit of extra help. Iden Versio's Pulse Cannon could have 3 different scope settings for long, medium and close range. Very simple, but I like it because the Pulse Cannon isn't as effective as it was in Battlefront 1. It didn't have 3 scopes in Battlefront 1, arguably yes, but I think in this game it's just needed to help Iden be a bit more accurate with that weapon. Iden Versio's Droid Shield could give Iden a small health boost and increase the damage of her melee attacks while the ability is active. And I think yes, she's very restricted when she's got that shield up. There's not much she can do until the shield goes down. So any bonuses that can be given to Iden in this situation would be greatly appreciated. Kylo Ren's Frenzy is up next and he could deal a lot more damage and lock onto targets much more easily, so technically just fixing the ability, which yes, they've had like a year now and that ability is still so glitchy, so I'm with James on this one. Lando's Smoke Grenade could deal small amounts of damage to enemies who get caught in it as they are being suffocated. Once again, when it comes to Lando here, a bit more damage that he can do to his enemies, I think for heroes like Lando and a few others is needed, so if the Smoke Grenade can just do a little bit of damage in situations, then I think it would help him more than you would probably believe. Leia Organa's Flash Grenade could have the same effect as the Officer Flash Grenade, possibly just switch them around. And yeah, I would say like the Officer has a better Flash Grenade than Princess Leia's, so just make Leia's as good, if not better than the Officer's. She is a hero at the end of the day. Luke Skywalker's Force Repulse could do less damage but blur enemy vision for a short amount of time as it blows dust over them. And this is pretty different, however this ability doesn't work most of the time, so the damage is irrelevant in a lot of ways. So maybe blinding them, because that's going to work a lot easier I would think, could work. Darth Maul's Fury's Throw could automatically lock onto targets slightly to make it easier to hit targets with the throw. And yes, Darth Maul's Throw, it's never been the same since launch, has it? I love that thing at launch. It's so hard to hit enemies most of the time. Sometimes it even hits them and doesn't do damage, so fix this ability, give it a bit of a lock on. I think that would help Maul out a real lot, to be honest. So for Yoda's regular attacks, so we're going to focus on regular attacks for this one and not an ability, they could make Yoda move forward more, as it's fairly easy to avoid his attacks right now, and he does fall behind. This is something I've noticed for a long time, basically since launch. He can't always keep up with enemies, and I dread to think where he'd be without the dash attacks, because sometimes they are the deciding factor in keeping up with your enemy. Finn's undercover team could do much more damage, but decrease the fire rate, make it similar to Han Solo's regular blaster. I think yes, the damage needs to be increased, but don't allow too many shots at the same time. It's a very useless ability, and right now I never find myself using it when I'm playing Finn. And it only feels right that we finish off this video by talking about Captain Phasma's legendary staff strikes. These could stop her taking damage and kill enemy troopers in one hit and deal damage to enemy heroes. These strikes are arguably one of the worst things in Battlefront 2, and I think one hit kills against infantry is needed. They need to be able to lock on a lot easier and actually do damage to heroes, maybe when they're not being shocked, because right now you can only seem to be effective with this thing when an enemy is being shocked. Any help this ability can get would be great. But we are going to end it there, everyone. Let me know what your favourite ability revamp was in the comments section. I personally just liked what he wanted to do with Darth Maul's saber throw, because that thing is so broken, and Darth Maul's my favourite hero, so he needs some attention. I do hope you enjoyed, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.